So I wanted to take a look at Geogebra so we can see what it looks like to use it and to graph on it, and so we can talk about conics and how I can give you guys some work to do using Geogebra. So here's the first thing I did is I went to Google and I typed in Geogebra, and here's what it shows, and I know it has a lot of choices, so I just want to go to the graphing calculator. All right. So the graphing calculator comes up and it has multiple things it can show. So you see this looks like a calculator. This one, maybe you've seen me use some basic tools. That's where we're going to find the conics on there. And then that one's a table. So we won't be using the table. So mostly we'll be using the calculator and the tools. All right. So let's pick one to start with. Let's say we start with what we started with in class and say we want to do a circle. So I want to show you on the tools that you would go down until you find circle, and what I want you to see is when I click on circle, it's going to tell me what it needs. So it says it needs a center point and it needs a point on the circle. So you have some choices on how to do that. One thing would be go up here and pick a point, but I don't like that. I'll show you why, because sometimes when I pick a point, I have a hard time getting exactly where I want to get. So like I could hit here and then I can go over. Oops, now it's looking for my circle. There's the second point. What I find though sometimes is the circle, see like this point B? That's not very accurate as far as I'm concerned. Like it may not be the point I exactly want. So I like to pick my points myself and then have it graph it. So let's get rid of that. I'm just going to hit the undo. And here in the calculator, I'm going to tell it the point I want. So maybe I want the point to be like 1, 4. And do you see how it put the point? So I'm going to go over here so you can see it. When I push enter, you can see it names it A. If you want to name it something else, just go back in there and say you want to call it C, then you can put a C there. And then I have C for the center. Okay. And then if I know how big I want my radius to be, maybe I want the radius to be 2, then I could put another point on there. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to say, okay, if the radius is 2, doesn't matter which direction. Let's say I go up 2. So then this would be, oops, I hit too many, 1 and then 6. Okay, so now I have a second point. I like that I have control over it. If I want to move, see how I clicked on this move, then I can move the screen around so I can see it a little better. All right. So now I can go back down to my circle, hit there's my circle, it says pick the center, so here's C, and then pick a point on the circle, and then I can pick A. This helps me because now when I go back over to the calculator, I can see this pretty little circle, x minus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to 4. The center is 1, 4, the radius is 2. It's exactly what I want it to be, and I don't have that, did I kind of sort of get on the right place, so I like putting my own points in. Right? So here's our first one. Let's try again. So let's say new, and I am not going to save this. Let's say we do the same thing with an ellipse. So again, let me show you where the ellipse is. So over here, and I scroll down, you can see it stopped at circles, but I can hit more, and that's where you'll find it's going to have all the conics that we've been doing, ellipse, parabola, hyperbola. So again, let me click on the ellipse, and it says here's what it needs. It needs the 2 foci, and it needs a point on the ellipse. All right. So again, we're thinking, oh, we already know about the ellipse that we probably want to do. I will give you information on what I want. So let's say I told you we had 2 foci, and let's pick some different points than last time. So maybe we're at 2, 3. Maybe that'll be one of our points. And then let's make another one be like 2, and then how far apart do I want to make them? Let's say -5. Okay. So here they are. Again, let me go over so we can see it, and maybe I'll just hit the minus a little so I can get them on the screen a little better and I can move it around. All right, so I can see here are my 2 foci on there, and then it's going to ask for another point. So the point I would give is I would give one of the vertices, and since I'm just making this up right now, so let's say I pick something like 2, and let's do +5. Okay. So I'm going to push enter, and then I have this third point. So let's go back over now. Let me go down, see if it still has it. So here's my ellipse, and it says select the 2 foci. So I'm going to select B, and I'm going to select A, so it knows this is what's making the ellipse, and then C, so it has the right size. There it is. Again, let's flip back over to the calculator part, and you can see here is the ellipse. It doesn't write in the form that we've been writing it in, but you could complete the square and get to the right thing. I kind of love that because I want to be able to have you guys graph some ellipses by not just putting the numbers into the calculator and it doing the work for you. I want to see you know where the foci are, you know where the vertice is located, and then you come up with a graph. All right. So we did a circle, we did an ellipse, we could do a parabola since I just kind of said that. So again, let's do a new one. I don't need to save it. The parabola is going to ask for two things too, but the parabola is going to ask you for where's the focus and where's the directrix. So I'm going to click on it so you can see it. It says select a point, then select the directrix. I think it's just saying more than a point. I think it really should say focus, but whatever. All right, so over here, again, let's do one that's interesting, maybe one that opens to the left. So let's say that I had my focus at, let's do 3, 1. All right. And then what I thought about, and why I'm saying let's make it open to the left, is how would you tell it to do a line? Because I should have a vertical line. So let's say I do my vertical line. Let's say that I had a directrix that was x equals 5. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to give it 2 points. Let's say I give it 5, 2. Oh, I guess I erased it already. So let's say I give it 5, 2. And let's say I also give it 5, 0. Okay. So I've picked 2 points that are going to make a vertical line, but what I'm going to have to do is go over here and see on all these things that it has, I'm going to add a line. Oh, I don't want to do all of that, so let's find, on the basic tools there is a line, I just have to find it, sorry about that. Oh, right here, lines, there's a bunch of them. So I'm going to add this line. It says select the 2 points, so I'm selecting the B and the C. So it puts in that line, and then you can see over here when I go to the calculator, it shows me x equals 5. So that's how I kind of trick it. This is kind of a function calculator, which most calculators are. Most things are function based. And now I forced it to do a vertical line by giving it to it. All right, so this is good. So now I'm ready to have it graph my parabola. So I'm going to, hey, here's my parabola. It says select the point. Here we go. Select the directrix. Here we go. And there's my opening to the left parabola, which is what I wanted it to do. And what I love, calculator, there's my equation of the parabola, which is awesome too. Okay. So the only one I haven't shown you yet, so let's get to that, is to do a new one. And let's do a hyperbola. Again, I don't want to save it. All right. So the hyperbola, let's be consistent. I'm going to go down here and click on it so you can see what it's looking for. So here's the hyperbola. It says it would like to know the 2 foci and then a point on the hyperbola. So very similar to what it asked for the ellipse. So let's make this one open up and down. Okay. So let's go over here and say if I knew what my foci were. So maybe we'll say that they are 2, 4, and maybe the other one I'll do as 2, negative 2. Oops, hit the wrong button. So there are my 2 foci, and what it's asking me also is to give it a point that's on the hyperbola. So let's say that I had a point that was 2, 1. Okay. So I'm just trying to keep track of what everything is. All right, so back over here, back to the calculator again, scrolling down. Here's my hyperbola. So it says start with the foci. So here's one, and here's the other one. And then it says go to a point. Oh, I think I made that point too much in the middle. So we're going to have to move that point. Let's go back over here, which I can do. I should have picked a little better. Let's call that to negative 1 now. This is because I didn't plan. For you guys, I'm going to give you a project where it's already planned out instead of me just talking. All right. That way I picked one that I think I must have picked exactly the midpoint of those 2, which is a little weird, so I fixed it. All right, so 2 foci I have at 2, 4, and 2, negative 2, and then I picked a point, which would be the vertex. I don't know why it just says point, but we're going to pick the vertex, is 2, negative 1, and then it graphs the hyperbola. So we can see we could graph everything. This looks really good, I think. What I kind of think would be fun is to have something that does more than one thing at the same time, so like let's look at this one a minute. Let's see if I can do something fun with this one. So, all right, let's go back and put that point in that I had earlier, which was 2, 1, and say, what if I had a circle that went from that 2, 1, and I made it touch that hyperbola, because we're going to be doing systems of equations. So this says pick a circle and then pick a point. So I would be interested in stuff like this, right? To say, can I have you guys draw me this? Can you tell me the points of intersection? To show me those points on the graph too. I think that would be really great. So look for me to throw you an assignment like this. This video is just showing you how to mess with GeoGebra, and then I'm going to throw you an assignment on actually doing it. All right, if you have any questions, you can email me.